do some ab exercises that any of these can be done without equipment, without weights, good things that you can be doing on your own without anything. And each one's going to be kind of sectioned towards what area of your abs is going to be working. So we're going to start with a lot of crunch variations, again starting with the easier ones, working our way towards the more advanced ones. So the first one, as you can see, Cassie is sitting in the chair. So what she's going to do, probably going to need to hold on to the sides of the chair as you actually do this one. She's going to kind of lean back, her legs are going to be straight out, and she's going to crunch them in towards her stomach, and then coming back out. So again, she's just extending the legs fully out, crunching them back in towards her chest. Now as you see, her knees don't actually have to touch her chest, right? It's just the movement of bringing them out and then crunching them back in, okay? All right, that's good, Cassie. So the next one, we're going to be on the ground for the next one. So let's get the chair out of the way. All right, Cassie, you can lay all the way down on the ground. We're gonna go into the basic crunch. So for this one, when we do crunches, something I tell my clients is that I want your hands to be around your ear. So we're gonna actually put the hands around the ear. And the reason being, I don't want you pulling on your neck and hurting your neck as you're coming up. So all we're gonna do, we're going to now raise our torso up as high as we can and then come back down. So go ahead, come up as high as you can and then come back down. I say that's almost a little bit too high. So we're gonna come up, leaving a little bit on the ground and then back down. So that was my fault. So we're gonna leave a little bit of her lower back on the ground, crunching up and then back down. It's not a full sit-up for this one. Okay. Perfect. And as you notice, our feet are staying on the ground, knees are in a bent position, everything looks good. Okay. Next one we're gonna do, this is the same starting position, this is opposite knee to elbow. So one leg's gonna remain on the ground, other leg is gonna cross over top. So we want more of that ankle area to be around where the knee is. Now, if you see her left knee is crossed over, so she's gonna take her right elbow and come up as high as she can towards that knee. If you can touch it, that's what we're ultimately aiming for. If not, just try to raise it up as high as you can. Okay? And if you were doing for time or reps or whatever it was, you do all on one side, and then we'd switch it to the other side. Going into the next one, we are going to do bicycle crunches next. So a lot of you are very familiar with this. You're going to be moving your legs just like if you were pedaling a bike. So go ahead and start moving your legs just like you're pedaling a bike. Now, same thing with the opposite knee to elbow. She's bringing the opposite knee, or the opposite elbow up to the opposite knee. Okay, keeping that contracted position, doing the crunch the whole time, going opposite to opposite, making a good full range of motion. These aren't little pedals that we're doing. Okay? Go ahead and relax. The next one that we're going to go into is a toe touch. A toe touch, your legs are actually going to start straight up in the air. So both legs are starting as straight as you can make them. Now with her hands, she's putting her hands straight out, and she's going to reach up for those toes as far up as she can go. So if she can touch her toes, she can. A lot of us won't be able to, so it's okay if you can. I know I can't, just reaching up as high as you can for it. Okay? Bringing that back up off the ground as much as you can for this one. The next one that we're going to do is either called frog crunches, suitcase crunches, there's a lot of different names for it. So we're actually going to be sitting up on our backside for this one. Now what she's going to do is she's going to extend her legs straight out and her torso is coming down a little bit, and then she's crunching them back in together. Going out and back out. So legs extend fully out, back is going slightly down. You can see her back's not going all the way to the ground, right? She's leaving a little bit of room there. I say she's going down to where she's got about 30 degrees left in her back, going down in that direction. Okay? You can go ahead and relax. The next one that we're going to do is a circle crunch. So for this one, we're basically going to perform a normal crunch, just like we did in the beginning. So go ahead and perform the normal crunch. And now she's going to move into a circle-like pattern as she's doing it. Okay? So she's starting in the same position just like she would have crunched, except now she's coming up to one side, rotating across to the other side. Again, with this one, we would basically do all one direction, and then we switch to the other side. So either time, reps, whatever one it is. The last one that we're going to go over for this little section is one of my favorites called the dying cockroach. And definitely a crowd pleaser. Not if you ask any of my clients, but for me it is. So we're going to start with your legs up off the ground. So go ahead and cross them one over top of the other. Her hands again are going to be around her ears. And now she's staying in this position the whole time. Now you're going to be rocking back and forth, trying to move around in a circle as much as you can. Okay? So for this one, you do need a little bit of space. You're going to try to go all the way around in one direction, and then you're going to go back around the other way. Okay? But you can relax. You don't have to do both ways. All right? So now Cassie's going to take us through part of the next section of the sit-up section for us.
All right, so our first sit-up is going to be a reverse sit-up in a chair. So Colin's going to go ahead and take a seat on the chair and kind of slide his glute to the end, being politically correct with the glute. All right, so he can go ahead and cross his arms, or if you do need the assisted help, you can have your hands on the side of the chair. And he's going to lean back, keeping his back and torso just straight as far back as he can go without touching, and then coming back up. And then back again. You can notice that he's looking forward, squeezing and engaging his core, keeping his feet on the ground. All right, you can go ahead and relax. Now we're going to go ahead and do a regular sit-up on the ground. Okay, Colin, if you could go ahead and bend your legs for me, so bring your knees up. He's starting down onto the ground, and he's going to be sitting all the way up. If you remember, with the crunch, we only kind of got the top half of our back off the ground. Now we're bringing our entire back. Good. Exhaling as you come up. Good. And squeezing that core. All right. Our next setup. So he's going to bring in kind of his feet out wider. So you can have your legs flat, or you can bend them, either way, whichever that you'd like to do. So now he's going to sit up, kind of cross his hands over each other and reach as far out as he can. What's good about this one is he's also getting a hamstring stretch. So when his legs are flat up against the ground, we're also getting some more flexibility movement in there. Down and back up. All right, so now we're going to go from kind of to his side, so he can pick one foot. So let's say your left foot, keeping those hands crossed, reaching out down to that left ankle as far as you can. Good. And then back to the other. Good. Crossing back and forth. Again, exhaling and breathing as you come up. Good. Come down softly. All right, so the last one is going to be a V sit-up. So his feet and his upper body are going to be coming up together. So that means his hands are going to be meeting his feet, almost making a V when you come up, hence the name. Good. Back out. Let me try to move it. Good. Again, keeping that back flat and kind of rotating his hips to keep them up against the ground. All right, and you can relax. Colin is now going to take us through a few variations for our obliques.
Okay, so going back to the chair, we are going to have Cassie take a seat. So as you can see as we're going through this, even if you can't get down on the ground, you can still do abs. Okay, so even if you look at me and say, well, I can't get down on the ground because I can't get back up, there's still ab work for you to do. Okay, the first one that we're going to do is a chair sit and reach, more for the obliques. So she's going to start with her hands down to the side. She's going to actually be leaning towards one direction, reaching as far down to the side as she can go, and then coming back up to start. And we're going to alternate sides for this one. So as you can tell, again, she is looking straight ahead. She's keeping that back nice and straight. She doesn't want to have a curve in her back, reaching down as far as she can go with being able to come back up. And just alternating sides. If that one is too easy for you, another variation is, Cassie, go ahead and stand up for me. For this one, we're essentially doing the same thing, just without the seated motion. So again, she's going to be reaching down towards the ground as low as she can go, and then come back up. Good. And then another thing that you can do, again, we know that this is a movement without equipment, but if you have any dumbbells and you want to make it harder, you can hold on to some type of weight, fill a water bottle up, it doesn't matter, you can go down and come back up with it. Okay, Next two are going to be on the ground for, so Cassie, go ahead and take a seat. Alright, probably one of the most popular ones for our obliques is the Russian twist. Now you can do the Russian twist even without dumbbells, right? We're going to act just like we had a dumbbell in our hands when we're doing it. So we're going to actually be on our butts for this one. We're going to start with our feet on the ground, just doing the easy variation first. And then she's going to take both hands and just going to the sides as far down as she can. Okay, and if you notice, she's basically touching the ground with her hands as she's doing this because she's trying to rotate as much to the side as she can. Right? We don't want to stop before we go to the ground. We want to keep going. Okay? If this one is too easy for us, the next step is just lifting those feet up off the ground and then still rotating as much to the side as we can as we do it. Good. Again, you see that her back is still staying nice and straight as she does it. Still looking straight ahead. Feet are off the ground, going side to side as much as she can. Okay. Last one we're going to do, Cassie, go ahead and lay all the way down for me. Legs are bent just like we would start in a crunch-like position. Go ahead and put your hands flat to the side. Now what we're going to do, we're going to basically reach to one side as far up as we can, reaching as far up on her foot as she can get. If you can't reach it, that's fine. We're just trying to go as far up onto that shoe as we can. Now come back to the next direction. We're just going to alternate sides for this. Okay, she's just reaching back and forth with it. Back and forth. Good. Very good. That is it. So if you notice, they're all basically the same motion, right? Just in different positions that we're doing. Okay? Cassie, you can go ahead and relax. We'll walk our way through the last section for us today.
Okay. We can go ahead and stay on the ground. If you want to go ahead and lay on your back, we're going to be working our lower abdominals now. First one is going to be a dead bug. So he's going to go ahead and put his arms out straight in front of him, and he's going to alternate, so opposite knee with opposite arm. So he's going to come and extend them out. Good, never allowing them to touch the ground back and forth. An important thing to remember is to not have an arch in your lower back on the side. You want your back flat up against the ground. He's going as slow as possible, really feeling the burn from side to side. Good, Colin, you can go ahead and relax. All right, so the next is going to be a flutter kick. So if you would like to put your hands underneath your glutes, I am allowing it, or you can have it out to the side. That does make it a little harder. Colin is going to lift his heels off the ground. Again, with all these, keeping his back flat up against the ground and kicking one foot up and down at a time, kind of like you would in a pool, hence flutter kick. Good. And you can go ahead and relax. Next one is going to be a scissor kick. So same motion. Again, you can put your hands underneath your glute if you'd like, keeping that back flat. He's lifting his feet up off the ground about 6 inches and then going on top and below. You never want to bring those legs up too high. Again, we're working those lower abdominals. Good, and you can go ahead and relax. All right, so our next one is going to be leg raises. We're going to be working at 30, 60, and 90 degrees. Of course, we're not getting a measure out, making sure we're keeping those, but your feet are going to be together, and so he's going to lift his feet to about where 30 degrees would look. Good, hold it for a count of maybe 3 seconds, and then up to 60. Good, and then bring it up to 90. And then we're going to work our way on the opposite way down, so back to 60. Good, and then all the way back down to 30. You can go ahead and relax. You can do this with a partner too, where you can have them just throw out different numbers of 60, 30, 90, and just work your way back and forth, kind of making the person guess. All right, the next one's going to be windshield wipers. So Colin's legs are going to be together. He can put his arms out to the side to kind of hold some more stability. He's going to lift his legs all the way up to that 90-degree angle. Let me get out of the way so he doesn't knock me out. And he is going to rotate his feet from side to side, like your windshield wipers would be doing on your windshield on a rainy day, back and forth. Now, if this is too tough for you, you can go ahead and bend the knees. Good, and then rotate back and forth. This is also a good kind of stretch on your back that you're rotating. Again, keeping that back straight. Good, Colin, you can go ahead and relax. Our last one is going to be the ABCs. So he can put his hands underneath his glute if you'd like. Again, keeping that back flat up against the ground. And he is spelling the ABCs. If you want to do lowercase or uppercase, it's your choice, from A to Z. It's not just A, B, and C. So Colin, if you want to go ahead and give us all 26 letters.
I'll give you a couple.
You can check out his spelling if it's good or not. Okay. Looks like you're doing uppercase.
Yep.